Welcome to the very first episode of Daily Book Dose. After a lot of thinking, I finally got this channel started. And the idea here is to share books that I'm reading with the world, with the universe. And the most important reason is so that I remember, understand, and digest these books better for myself. It is sort of selfish in that way that I'm putting it out there and going through all of this effort for myself. But in a way, it's sharing with the universe as well. And it's through the motivation of these regular sort of video uploads or podcast uploads that I will be committed to reading these chapters on a daily basis, and not only reading it, but actually going deeper and understanding it and analyzing it for myself as well. Generally, the books that we will be discussing here, that I will be discussing with you here, are going to be more of the famous books, self-help books, personal development books. But the first one is one which is not very famous. It's it's written by two very well-known authors, very respected authors. Both of them have since passed away and are no longer with us. It's written by the late monk Acharya Mahapragna from a very important sect within Jainism, and it's co-authored by Dr. Abdul Kalam, which was at one point the president of India, and he was, I believe, the first Muslim president of India as well. I chose this book because the beliefs and the discussions in this book are something which have played a very critical role in myself growing up. So the name of the book is Family and the Nation, and I just want to share with you from the very end of the book, I think one of the last things written in the book, and it's very famous because I came to know about it because Dr. Abdul Kalam, when he was presenting at the European Parliament, when he was still president of India, he said this divine old hymn, and just hearing it, sort of made me stand up, be proud as an Indian, and it got a standing ovation in the European Union in Parliament as well. Where there is righteousness in the heart, there is beauty in the character. When there is beauty in the character, there is harmony in the home. When there's harmony in the home, there's order in the nation. When there's order in the nation, there's peace in the world. It really brings out that, whatever change we want to make in the world, it all starts from ourselves and our mind. And it's very similar to something that I very strongly believe in, that to change the world is extremely easy. If you can change a 6-year-old child, you can change the world. But to change a 6-year-old child is extremely difficult. Before you change that 6-year-old child, you gotta change yourself. I also believe that any change we want to make in the universe, we've got to start from deep within us. I also believe that anything which is old is new, and everything which is new at one point has been old as well. The book starts off talking about how India was very advanced for its time, let's say 1,000 years ago or something, 2,000 years ago, and it gives quite a few examples, such as the Indians brought meditation to the world, started with the concept of zero. The Indians brought yoga to the world as well, and many different examples like this, which I don't want to go too much in detail of right now. But what it does talk about is the lacking of modern education. And it says that modern education focuses on knowledge and livelihood, but it does not talk about learning to live with others and also learning our true selves. Now, to understand learning with others and also learning about the true self, it talks about the three things. It talks about three things which are very important from the Jain perspective, but also I believe, if the world understands these three things or even abides by some of them to some extent, it's there's no other way to say it than the world will be a better place. I mean, it's very simple, have the right faith, the right knowledge, and the right conduct. And by having these things, we sort of become more peaceful to a certain extent. And that follows the rule of ahimsa, of non-violence. Automatically, if we've got the right knowledge and the right conduct, I believe we'll be more peaceful. We won't be so aggressive with others. We'll be kinder to others. And, there's no other way than saying the world will be a more calmer place, a better place maybe as well. Another concept that it really drives home is the human propensity for accumulation gave birth to conflicts between men. And one of the first lessons in economics, I remember my teacher mentioned, there's enough in this world for every man's needs, but not enough for any one man's wants. Our wants are endless, our wants are boundless, and it's probably the root cause of the conflicts between men. It also talks about that every viewpoint has a validity of its own. Anything you think is a valid thought worth thinking, and that's really, everybody has their own perspective, and we've got to respect everyone's perspectives the same way that we can respect everyone's, the same way we should expect everyone to respect our perspective. And when we have any one viewpoint, not just to get bound down by the dogma of that one viewpoint, but there's many different ways of the same thing as well. So to keep our mind open on that. It talks about how development affects the individual, society, life, environment, and the world. And development, that whenever we think of it, it should encompass all five of these aspects as well. And the main philosophy, and one of the most important things is the main philosophy when we're thinking about development or when we're thinking about the growth, should be to take individuals and society to a higher level of peace and happiness. It shouldn't be to, serve our wants or desires, but it really should be to take ourselves and the society that we live in to a higher level of wealth, actually. And yeah, that's actually pretty much it from this first chapter. Let's see what happens tomorrow for the next chapter.